Today's lead story: WordPress Prime, aka WordPress.org, and CEO Matt have escalated its conflict with WPEngine by blocking its servers from accessing vital resources, including plugin updates, theme updates, you name it. This move, following a dispute over WPEngine's refusal to pay trademark fees, could put user sites at risk by preventing essential updates. WordPress co-founder Matt Mullenweg argues WPEngine profits without contributing to WordPress development, prompting the block. Users and the WordPress community are divided, with the discussion of potential forks emerging. That and many, many more stories tonight. I welcome you to episode 1769, coming to this Thursday, September 26th. I'm your host, Todd Cochran, ready to deliver your tech news and information fix. A quick shout out to our incredible sponsor at GoDaddy. Score exclusive deals and discounts at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. And to all of you, our fantastic listeners, you are the heartbeat of this show. If you want to support the GNC mission, head to geeknewscentral.com/insider and become a GNC insider. We are lit and live thanks to modern podcast apps. Don't just listen, experience the show live by grabbing a modern podcast app at podcastapps.com. You can interact in real time and take your podcasting experience really to the next level. While you're at it, check out the full site at geeknewscentral.com, where you'll find all our partner shows, tons of content, and more tech goodness. And of course, stay in the loop. Follow or subscribe via your favorite podcast app and join the community. Don't forget to sign up for our newsletter for even more insider scoops. If you have something to say, it's real simple. All you do is email me, geeknews@gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com. Of course, you can follow me on X at Geek News, and of course, you can catch me over on Facebook. Don't forget about our chat room at geeknews.chat. That's the place to be. And of course, a massive thank you to GoDaddy. And they are the longest continuous running sponsor of a podcast in podcasting, keeping the savings rolling and the tech flowing. You can grab their best deals at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. If you're ready to score big, folks, how about a brand new domain name for just $11.99, or level up with economy hosting for only $6.99 a month? And that includes a free domain, professional email, and an SSL certificate, all for the first year. Want even more power? No problem. Easy to do. All you have to do to get that more power is grab Manage WordPress Hosting for just $12.99 a month, with all those same perks: a free domain, email, and SSL certificate included. And if you're really on the fence, don't sweat it. Take GoDaddy Website Builder for a free 1-month test drive. Whether you're building something personal or launching the next big thing in business, GoDaddy has your back. Now, here's the best part. When you hit up geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy, you're not just grabbing a deal. You're supporting this team and keeping this small business alive. No weird tracking, no hidden codes, just real savings for real listeners. Of course, we want to give a shout out to GoDaddy. And don't forget, get that $6.99 a month economy hosting deal, or that $12.99 a month managed WordPress hosting deal. Again, available: free domain, professional email, and an SSL certificate. And again, thank you for keeping Geek News Central moving strong, ready to lock in your savings. Again, head to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy, and let's get building. Hey, everyone, hope you're doing well. I hope you're had a great week. Can't believe it's Thursday already. It's been absolutely just a crusher here. I guess for a better word, just steady, busy, steady. All things tracking forward. But the new security door is in, so that's exciting. It's all in, trimmed up, shuts nicely. It's even got, we went the extra mile, and, well, the people that installed it did, because I'd have never thought about this. They bought hinges that are have a little bit of a spring to them. So if I go out the door and so and it shuts, love that. The alarm is reinstalled, so I'm lock and loaded here with the alarm and other things. That's an awesome part. Now, as I'm tweaking things and getting ready to transition back overseas, doing my pack out, and I was taking I take a Mac with me, and I take well, I needed to take a Windows machine with me so that I can do the audio streaming. It's kind of the backup machine that sets off the side, do some other stuff. And the machine that I've got here, man, that sucker weighed about, like more than I wanted to hump, right? Very, very heavy. So I'm digging around in my, I guess for a better words, archive of machines. And I don't really need much of a Windows machine to run the streamer. I found another machine that would travel much easier. And so I've done some switch out of some gear. And long story short, the Heavy Monster is now doing the live audio stream. And the biggest thing I had trouble with it was the inputs. It's a big gaming machine. It didn't like the mic input at all. And got that all kind of figured out, digging through a box and said, oh, looky here. An exact piece I was going to order on Amazon that was going to cost me $8. I had it, but didn't know quite where to look. Now, one thing that struck me this week that really blew me away, I had a little box called a Rode Streamer. Came out a couple years ago. And I'm thinking about how I'm going to do video in a good way in the other location to keep the quality up. And lo and behold, Rodecaster yesterday or the day before announced this new thing called the Rodecaster Video. And it is a dream box. A little expensive, so I had to go into cash reserve, aka go to the credit card, and put this on order. It'll be here tomorrow. But I mean, it's total overkill. But I had a whole bunch of stack of stuff to try to hodgepodge something together that would work good. This thing's going to work perfect. So I'm really excited to be able to keep the quality of the video part of the show where it's at when I go. And the only thing I got to buy now is a green screen and see how that's all going to work out. But anyway, we'll have a little bit of fun with that when I transition in the middle of October to the other location. Now, just a little bit of an update on schedule here. So next Monday, I'm gonna get started a little early on the show, and the reason for that is the 19th annual Podcast Awards ceremony happens, I think, at 8 p.m. Eastern on Monday. So I'm going to do the show live, boom off, get things turned around, come back and ready to do the award show. So we're going to have a quick show then on Monday. And then now Thursday show, I'm going to be in Florida. I'm meeting with my team. We're going down to West Palm Beach or East Palm Beach or whatever it is. Actually, we're going to Jensen is where we're going to. We're going to a resort in Jensen. And, of course, the hurricane is going up the coast now. So we got a couple of people that are driving down. So they've adjusted their drive timing a little bit to try to avoid this nastiness. But anyway, we're going to, I'm leaving Tuesday of next week, Tuesday morning. Matter of fact, as soon as the awards are over, I'm going to jump in bed, and then I have to leave the house by 2 o'clock in the morning or something like that to be in Detroit by 4, and then my flight's at 6. So, yeah, Tuesday is going to be a big travel day just to get down there because I have to get up so early. But then I'm back here on Friday or Saturday, fly back Saturday, I believe. Whatever day I fly back. I can't remember now the schedule. But then normal show on Monday. And then we're going to do a special show on Wednesday, October 9th. Wednesday, October 9th will be my 20 years of doing this show. So no show next week, Thursday. We're going to have one this following Monday. And then I'll be back for 2 shows, Monday and Wednesday. Wednesday will be the show that I will do for celebrating 20 years. The following day, I head to Chicago. Friday, I fly to Honolulu, see my kid, and be out there. So there'll be a little bit of shift of the show on Monday, the 14th. So just we'll play it by ear here. Should be back and all up and running. May miss one episode after that, but yeah, going to be in transit. I'll be away from this studio for a couple of months. So that's kind of the plan. Meanwhile, for those of you that observant that are watching the video, you'll notice I got a bottle of Buffalo Trace sitting behind me. I do like bourbon. So, if anyone wants to send me a bottle of bourbon for the 20th year, I do like Buffalo Trace. There's very few bourbons that I have met that I don't like. I'm not a big rye drinker. So, if you want to send me a bottle of bourbon, that would be wonderful. Not making any suggestions whatsoever, but no, but I thank you for your consideration. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the stack of stuff I've got to go over tonight. Oh my goodness, this is World War III in the online world as far as this battle in this conflict between Matt Mullenweg, and I always pronounce his name wrong. I Mullenweg. I apologize, but I've sort of semi-known Matt for many, many years. I've met him several times and talked to him, and Matt is, I would say he's very passionate, and he's lived and breathed WordPress for 20 years, like I have lived and breathed podcasting. So from that standpoint, we're a lot alike, except his company makes $500 million a year, and I'm working hard to get our company to $5 million a year. So big difference, right? And but WordPress on Wednesday, and this all started about a week ago at a WordPress event where they basically Matt called out WPEngine for not contributing time to the words to the source code. Basically says WordPress core is basically contributing about 3,700 hours a week towards improving WordPress, whereas WPEngine is contributing about 40 hours a week. And WPEngine has been using WPEngine, capital W, capital P, for a long time, and they are owned by a some sort of late equity firm, very, very, very rich firm, and all they care about profit. Now, I'm not, and to just put it mildly, we get a lot of issues from my support team from WPEngine clients because WPEngine is so restrictive, and they do a lot of weird things with their WordPress installs. And their pricing model is very expensive. So, I've not been a big fan of WPEngine for a long time as a hosting provider. We know that WordPress is an open source CMS, which is extensible using plugins, and we have a plugin at Blueberry called PowerPress that is, used by nearly 100,000 podcasters. And it is truly a vast ecosystem. And we spent a lot of time and a lot of resources at Blueberry keeping that plugin updated. Matter of fact, I wrote like 3 or 4 Jira tickets this week on some things that we wanted changed and updated and adding features. And most WordPress users rely on many plugins. By Matt shutting off WP's engine access to WordPress.org, which we are not beholden to WordPress.org, because even at Blueberry, for our WordPress users, we host all the media, we do all the security updates, we take care, and we give them a true WordPress experience. But WordPress CEO called WPEngine a cancer and accused of profiting from WordPress without contributing to development of the CMS. And WPEngine doesn't want or intend to pay. And the CEO, Matt, argued that if WPEngine won't pay, it should not be able to benefit from resources at WordPress.org. So he said WPEngine wants to control your WordPress experience. They need to run their own user login system, update servers, plugin directory, theme directory, pattern directory, block directory, translations, photo directory, job board, meetups, conferences, bug tracker, forums, Slack, Ping-O-Matic, and Showcase. I'm like, whoa. Their servers can no longer access our servers for free. So this denial of service, which follows a mutual cease and desist, has been noted in the WPEngine incident log. And basically, WordPress.org has blocked WPEngine customers from updating and installing plugins and themes. So this is big. Now, in the post announcing the ban, he directed WP customers to contact WPEngine support if they're having trouble with their WordPress site. Now, among WordPress users posting to Reddit, not everyone is on board with Matt's war and their discussion of a WordPress fork. Well, I'm going to tell you, to fork WordPress, you're going to need a big, big, big bank account. And you're going to need to have a whole bunch of people follow you. To fork WordPress at this time, sure, you can fork it. Good luck on yourself in doing that. And there's a lot of people that are pissed off. But here's the thing. In open source, you still have to have people that are leaders and people that are contributors, people that are helping with code. It's very hard to build momentum. We do our support by keeping our plugin up to date. We work with other plugins that may have conflicts. We suggest stuff in the forums. We don't necessarily contribute to WordPress core, but our plugin is responsible for about 100,000 sites being able to do podcasts. So in that instance, we do contribute our time. So, and we honor the WordPress trademark and use it according to the style guides in any of our documentation. So this is gonna be big, and there's a post over on WordPress.org talking about how WPEngine is not WordPress, and really what he goes back to is WPEngine turns off revision control. On my site, I can look at every revision. There's a stack on like the geeknesscentral.com/GoDaddy page. Every time I update it, there is a huge stack of, there's 12 updates every year because I change the titling out and I can see that titling very, very close. I can see any changes that were made to the page and I can revert if I want to. WPEngine turns that off. They disable revision because it costs them money to store the history of changes in the database. And that's the same with me. You think about how long I've been running a WordPress site. It's considerable. So I don't know what else they dumb down. I don't care. But here's the thing. If you're a WPEngine user right now, you're going to have to manually update your plugins, manually update your themes. That's possible. You have to download them and upload them. And if WPEngine's put a size limit on what you can upload, which a lot of times they do, you'll have to connect via FTP or SFTP and upload that file into that plugin directory, then open it up. Actually, you have to uncompress it and upload it manually. And, for the average user, that might be just a little bit too much to ask. I can do it. But I've run WordPress for many, many years. And normally now we've been spoiled because we just click update and it updates. So if you are a user of WPEngine, I would love to hear what your thoughts are. What kind of chaos is this going to bring upon? So, but there's been a little bit of tit for tat here, in that WPEngine broke thousands of customer sites yesterday in their haphazard attempt to block or attempt to inform the wider WordPress community regarding their disabling and locking down a WordPress core feature. So they didn't want people to know this was going on. Now, there is already going to be litigation against this. What they're saying is, what I will tell you is that pending their legal claim and litigation against WordPress.org, WPEngine no longer has free access to WordPress.org resources. So they go on to say the reason WordPress sites don't get hacked as much anymore is we work with hosts to block vulnerabilities at the network layer. WPEngine will need to replicate that security research on their own. Why should WordPress.org provide those services free to WPEngine, who makes $500 million a year? So they're saying WPEngine is free to offer up their hacked up. Now listen to how this is crazy. WPEngine is free to offer up their hacked up, bastardized simulacrum of WordPress GPL code to their customers, and they can experience WordPress as WPEngine envisions it, with them getting all the profits and providing all of the services. If you want to experience WordPress using any other host in the world besides WPEngine, WPEngine is not WordPress. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. This is Matt's hair is on fire, and he penned this piece on WordPress.org. Now, Blueberry, we do not. Here's what happens on WordPress.org. You can get over there and get a free site, but it's limited. And if you want to pay, you can do other things like mapping domains and that kind of stuff. We give all of our Blueberry customers that want them a free WordPress site. It's on a blueberry.net domain. And for a fee, if they're paying a $20 a month account, just like over on WordPress, you can map a domain to it, and we update it, and we have limited templates and limited plugins you can use. It's a managed system. It's not as robust as other services because we don't want people to get too... Well, it's cost us a lot of money to manage if we just let everybody have a free-for-all. We're not a full-blown WordPress hosting company. This is part of our service we give to podcasters, is a free account or a free WordPress site. So, I don't ever want to get in the crosshairs of Matt. But the community's divided. But Matt is Matt. This does not surprise me in the least. Not in the least. At the same time, OpenAI drops nonprofit status in large-scale reorganization. This is big. We knew this was coming. There was no way they could keep this nonprofit status. And this is going to cause enough turmoil as it is. And they've had a number of people leave this week. So, I have no doubt that they're going to continue to do well over there. But Reuters is reporting an effort to make itself more attractive to investors, which is kind of curious. OpenAI plans to scrap the nonprofit structure of its core business, thereby removing the authority of its board of directors, as well as granting CEO Sam Altman equity in the company. They say, we remain focused on building AI that benefits everyone, and we're working with our board to ensure that we're best positioned to exceed in our mission. The nonprofit is core to our mission, will continue to exist. An OpenAI spokesperson toward Reuters, the nonprofit portion of the business will not be done away with entirely, but instead would continue to exist and own a minority stake in the overall company. They can't get rid of, by law, the nonprofit portion of the business is going to change. But Altman could receive as much as $150 billion in equity from the restructured company. Now, that's quite a reversal of fortune, seeing that he got canned by his board of directors just about a year ago. But numerous high-level employees, researchers Jane Lake, Isla Stuxver, both left in May. Miri Murati announced her resignation from the company and was quickly followed by Chief Researcher Bob McGrew. Barrett Zorf, senior research executive through Altman, denies that departures are due to the proposed restructuring plan. The plan is still being vetted by the company's lawyers and stakeholders because a lot of people invested in this. So we'll see what happens with this. Could be a curious ride for OpenAI. Meanwhile, OpenAI has, and I don't have it as an article, but there is a feature now where you can turn on, and I haven't tried it yet, the voice piece. And I was going to do a little bit of an experiment with it, but I have not looked at my settings to see how this turned on, or maybe I have not been given access to it. I'm looking. Oh, speech. Is it available? Voice, play, personalization, no, general. Yeah, I don't know where this is going to be. So I'll keep an eye out. But I'm going to have a little fun with it once I get voice capability. We'll see what it does, and we'll demonstrate it on the show. But again, I don't have access to the voice interaction yet. Now, say what you will, Apple quietly removed 60 more VPNs from Russian App Store. Now, the iThing maker's actions comes amid a Kremlin crackdown on VPNs. Has already seen a ban on privacy-related extensions to the open-source Firefox browser. The software developer Mozilla defied the ban and allowed the extensions back into the web store in July, but Apple removed at least one VPN from its Russian App Store. But Cupertino removed at least 60 more between July and September 18th, according to research by Great Fire, posted to its site that tracks Apple's censorship. The org's research asserts that 98 VPNs are now unavailable in Russia, but it doesn't specify if the removals were made in the iOS or Mac app stores. Apple's silent removal of close to 60 VPN apps from Russia App Store is not just alarming, it's a direct threat to digital freedom and privacy, asserted Benjamin Ismail, director of App Censorship Project at Great Fire. By unilaterally restricting access to these tools without transparency or due process, Apple is complicit in enabling government censorship. The fact that nearly 100 VPNs are now unavailable in the Russian App Store, this is state-sponsored censorship. VPNs are lifelines for a lot of people, and I use a VPN when I travel. A great deal. Maybe when I'm not just surfing the web, but if I'm doing any type of legal, financial, any type of transaction where I'm logging into accounts that I don't really want a man in the middle sniffing out what I'm doing, I use a VPN. And again, there's lots of them out there. My VPN of choice, and this is not a sponsorship, is NordVPN. That's the one I use. It's on my phone. It's on my my computers. And here's the interesting thing. Having spent enough time now overseas, there's certain things that if I want to do, I can't do from. Okay, so example, if I want to initiate a bank transfer, I cannot log in from a foreign country, get into my bank account, and my bank basically says, hey, you told us you've been on vacation and we allow you to use your ATM card, but, we see this foreign IP coming in and trying to do a bank transfer. That raises the alarm bells. Now, hackers can use a VPN as well. So, but anyway, I sign into a VPN and connect to a server in Chicago, and I log into my bank and I can able to do bank transfers, and it's not an issue. So that gives you some insight into, why you might need a VPN while you travel if you have to do some sort of transaction like that. All right, so let me move over here to this new thing going on in California. California has a new law that forces digital stores to admit you're just licensing content, not buying it. So digital storefronts won't be able to use the word buy or like anymore. Won't be able to use the words like, buy, or purchase unless they make the disclosure that they are licensing. So this California law, AB 2426, has been signed to combat disappearing purchases of digital games, movies, music, and ebooks. So remember, when you buy something, it isn't going to guarantee you're going to have it for life. I've had movies disappear off of Apple Movies that I've purchased in the past. But so this legislation will force digital storefronts to tell customers they're getting a license to use the digital media rather than suggesting they actually own it. And we forget about this, that we used to buy music on a CD or DVD or however you got your music, and you owned it. That was yours. You could take that and trade it with someone. They had the CD. That went to them. You then could have taken that CD and ripped that music and put it on your device, and you still owned it. I have still a massive library. I've got a massive library from all the years of collecting vinyl, collecting CDs. I mean, a massive library. And it's so many times I get prompted, you want to convert this to a digital library? No, this is my library. I own this library. So it's a big deal. This wording. So I think it's about time, to be honest with you. This is probably one of the few laws that California's enacted in a while that I actually think are good. This next story, this is monumental as well. PayPal has announced that they're going to allow businesses. Yes, they're going to allow businesses to buy and sell crypto. Now, wow, that's incredible that they're going to allow them to buy and sell and hold crypto. So let me get into the story here. So, although the company already allowed its PayPal and Venmo users with consumer accounts to use Bitcoin and other vital coins via its online wallets, it's now rolling out similar capabilities to businesses. The effort marks a major play in expanding the functionality of digital assets for business that comes as cryptocurrencies gain wider market acceptance after the U.S. SEC approved Bitcoin exchange-traded funds in January. So businesses now can buy, hold, and sell crypto. That's huge. That's huge. So exciting for me. It really, really is, considering everything that's going on. Also, a fun article. If you're getting ready to go on a vacation, you're going to fly anywhere, if you're trying to get Wi-Fi in a plane, I'll be honest with you, T-Mobile, because I have a T-Mobile account on one of my phones, I'm able to get free Wi-Fi on United. It's been wonderful to have that free Wi-Fi, even on overseas flights. All I do is put in my telephone number. Now, I don't know how they verify that I could have shared my the secondary phone, I don't share the telephone number. So my main number that's all over my website, that's on Verizon. So it's not like you can, if you know my number, you can enter it on a flight. But I just wonder how they control this and how they keep people from sharing stuff. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's good article on how to get free Wi-Fi and look it over. Also, for you got a college student that's complaining about their roommate. Well, there's some cheap devices out there that will stop your roommates from stealing your food. Now, I think probably most refrigerators are probably communal in college dorms. I don't know. You guys tell me. But if you have your own refrigerator, this particular article will keep your roomies from going in and stealing your food. So there's another method to keep your roomies from stealing food too, but it involves a laxative in cookies and brownies and that kind of stuff. But again, legalities, this may not be legal to do that, and your run in with a disgruntled roommate could be escalated. According to Digital Trends, a RoboCop TV show is in the works at Amazon Prime. So if you are a fan of RoboCop, apparently there's something in works as well. There's been an announcement here on Disney Plus password sharing fees and how that's going to work. Now, it's interesting on how they have approached this. So Disney outlined the new rules on its site, paid sharing on Disney Plus, saying that anyone outside of your household will be required to be added as an extra member, or sign up for a new account. Now, here's what it costs the United States. So $6.99, for $6.99, you can sign up a additional member if you have Disney Plus with ads. If you have Disney Plus with no ads, the extra member fee is $9.99. And if you have, but Netflix extra member fee is $7.99. Now, if you think about this, and what's really noteworthy here is that the add-ons cost more than 80% of the price of taking out a standard subscription with ads. So a lot of people are probably going to be inclined to simply sign up for a new account, while that percentage reduced 70% on October 17th when Disney Plus subscriptions are raised by $1 to $2 in the United States. If it still accounts for more than half of the price of a subscription. Now, here's where this potentially can work out. You got a kid at college, or you have someone that you're still supporting, and you're willing to spend that extra little bit of money every month to give one additional households. At this point, my daughter and her husband are doing very well for themselves, and they don't need dad's support anymore. Now, my youngest son, he might want me to help him with an add-on like this. But again, it's for a household. So $7.99 for the Netflix to add another household might be okay. When I travel, Netflix has always questioned me. Oh, are you traveling? And yes, I'm traveling. That's why I'm not logged in at home. Hey, I do want to thank Adam Curry coming on the New Media Show yesterday. We had a great time with him. We got a bunch of people that boosted the show. So those boosts came in. We talked about it during the podcast. For those of you that are not using a new modern podcast app at podcastapps.com, we want you to consider that. Now, you can see there was a 1,225 sats, 16,000 sats, 1,701 sats, 1,000 sats. Again, it came in while we were doing the interview with Adam. Meanwhile, we had people that were streaming sats. We just saw 434 sats came in from Dave Jackson just 9 minutes ago while I'm doing this show. So people are watching or listening to the New Media Show and streaming sats to the podcast. Yesterday, we had Pestmerk. He was streaming sats to Geek News Central. We definitely appreciate him or her for the streaming sats. The same with Darren Schwartz and so forth. So, again, thank you for your support of the podcast and providing value back to the show. Meanwhile, we want to thank Kirk Corliss for his $5 sustaining donation. We definitely appreciate that, Kirk. for your contribution to the show. You too can be involved. geeknewscentral.com/insider. geeknewscentral.com/insider. From providing value, provide value back. Time, talent, or treasure. Very, very simple. And I do appreciate everyone that is contributing to the show on a monthly basis. It makes a big, big difference. It truly, truly does in the long run of things. And we could do so much more if every one of you considered just a $2, $4, $6, $8, $10, whatever it may be, monthly contribution to the podcast. Again, not asking for a lot. And encourage you to go over to geeknewscentral.com insider and become an insider and support the podcast that way. Definitely appreciate it. Kristen Bell, and I don't even know who this lady is. Kristen Bell told Instagram to get rid of AI before she became its official voice. Well, that kind of sounds like a weird title. Kristen Bell told Instagram to get rid of AI. Now, in a June Instagram post, the actor said she was opposed to Meta's AI use of her data. But guess what? Now she's one of the chatbot's official voices. So Google must have went over there and paid her some money. Meta has cut deals for high-profile actors to lend their voices to its chatbot, with Kristen Bell among the initial set of voices. Bell lending her voice is a bit of a surprise because of this initial announcement. But this is interesting as well. She had posted something on Instagram, and I see people do this once in a while on other platforms. She put on her Instagram, "I own the copyright to all images and posts submitted to my Instagram profile, and therefore do not consent to Meta or other companies using them to train generative AI platforms. This includes all future and past posts, stories, threads on my profile." Guess what? That does nothing. She's already agreed to the terms of service. So, guess what? She's out of luck. They can do whatever they want within the terms of service to her data. Putting this on, I see this all the time on Facebook, different sites. You have no right to use any of my images. Well, you agreed to the terms of service. Absolutely, they do. Do you really think that this negates your ability to use the service? Did you read the 800 pages of the terms of service on the website? To me, this type of commentary by people that think they know it all is hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. Remember that AI do not pay? Well. Among the first AI companies that the Federal Trade Commission has exposed as deceiving consumers is Do Not Pay, which initially advertised the world's first robot lawyer with the ability to sue anyone with the click of a button. On Wednesday, the FTC announced it took action to stop Do Not Pay from making bogus claims after learning that the AI startup conducted no testing to determine whether its AI output was equal to the level of a human lawyer. Do Not Pay also did not hire or retain any attorneys to help verify outputs or validate Do Not Pay's legal claim. They have to pay $193,000 for trying to be smart. Now, let me tell you what I do. If we want to make a change to our terms of service, I tell our lawyer, these are the changes we want to make to our terms of service. And he reviews and makes the legal write-up, and we put it in there, make the announcement, do the date change on the terms of service. I am not so stupid to think that I could trust an AI to write or update my terms of service. No, the output sometimes looks pretty good. But again, there's a lot of thou not, shall not, do not, will not, these all kinds of things that are said in AI, in lawyer speak. I call it contractor speak. Got to speak a certain way. 193,000. I wonder how much money and how much startup money they had. So if you're a Netflix fan, you want to see what's leaving in October, you just got a few days left. We have a link up in the show notes of all the movies that are going away and the dates that are gone. So you can definitely check that out, link in the show notes. Also, Chinese hackers have reportedly infiltrated several major U.S. internet firms. Salt Typhoon has compromised multiple ISPs, but it's not known who. No release yet. So this alleged break-in to ISPs, and they're using their position to steal sensitive information, lay the groundwork for future attacks. This investigation by Wall Street Journal, which cited people familiar with the matter, did not name the compromised ISPs. Why not? And this is all about trying to cripple the United States. Imagine you take down ISPs right around election time. What happens then? It's not going to be good, right? By the way, I filled out my absentee ballot today and delivered it in person to our person in our township that which is it's kind of ironic. My sister is the person that takes care of the elections for our township. So the rules are you have to hand it in person or you have to mail it. Well, I went, I held my hand out. I said, I'm giving you to this in person. She says, she said, is it sealed? And I said, yes, it's sealed. And I turned it to sure it was sealed and handed it to her. So my ballot is in. So it's kind of weird. Yeah, but when you live close, you can do that, right? Anyone can. Anyone in the township can come by and hand it to her. It's not just me, but most people drop theirs in the mailbox and it comes here anyway. 20% of U.S. politicians and staff had their emails compromised on the dark web. Data leaks include info from personal LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter profiles. So this number is pretty big. Almost 3,200 U.S. politicians and staff have had their data leaked to the dark web. This figure amounts to nearly 20% of all people working in the U.S. Congress. And this is a worrying finding from a joint investigation conducted by the leading digital risk firm Constella Intelligence and privacy provider Proton. Official emails and plain text passwords were compromised. The leaks occurred primarily because staffers used their official email to sign up for various online services, including high-risk dating and adult websites. Now, when I had a .mil email address, I signed an extensive user agreement that said I would not do this, do that, do this, do that. I can't even imagine. Even if I had wanted to, I can't imagine having used my work address for a dating site, adult website. Come on now. So these folks have here's probably the reason. This is why it happened. I'm going to tell you exactly. Listen up, ladies and gentlemen. Your very efficient, very busy government worker had some extra time on their hands. So they went online, and because they weren't at home, or maybe they didn't have access to the phone because it was in a locked up drawer somewhere because they couldn't have it in the space they were working on, they went online and signed up for a service, and to validate their name while they were at work so they could use the service and set up profiles, they used their work email because they couldn't get access to their personal Gmail at work. That's why these knuckleheads have had their emails compromised. There should be actions done. There should be records of reprimand put in their personnel files. This type of activity, at least when I had a .mil address, that would have been administrative punishment. There would have been serious consequences. What are we living in? A canoe club at this point? I'm just blown away. 3,200 have had their data leaked to the dark web because staffers use their official email. Shame on them. Shame on them. Why those weren't why those services, in other words, why those confirmation emails and so forth were not blocked from getting response emails is beyond me, because I tell you, it blocked 90% of the stuff that was coming in that shouldn't be coming in. And it was a very simple way to say block this, and it went to the major register, and those emails got blocked from there further on just with a click of my button. It's just, it's astonishing. Absolutely astonishing. Well, sometimes promotions happen on the battlefield. And a NASA astronaut stranded by Boeing Starliner has seized the opportunity to become the commander of the space station. After a ride back home, left her stranded in orbit by Boeing, who has not gotten a penalty and who's not, been called out for any safety concerns, unlike Elon Musk has in SpaceX. NASA astronaut Sonny Williams is now taking control of the International Space Station. On Monday, Williams was sworn in as commander to mark the commencement of ISS Expedition 72, takeover from Russian cosmonaut Oleg Kononenko, or whatever it is, Kononenko. This is the second time that I'll never get hired for a translation person, that's for sure. This is the second time that Williams has served as commander aboard the orbital outpost, and another twist in what has been a whirlwind few months. So, but now, yeah, she's the new commander up there. I don't know if that carries any, what that actually carries in responsibilities, but I'm sure there's something up there, aka chain of command. So we'll see. Mozilla, oh man, Mozilla stands by its controversial privacy feature, but ready to clear up confusion. Mozilla Firefox is known as, one of the, better web browsers out there for privacy. An unexpected turn of events, however, the service couldn't under fire in Europe for tracking a user without consent. Austria-based digital rights group Noib, None of Your Business, filed a complaint with the local data protection authority for quietly enabling what's supposed to be a privacy feature, the so-called privacy-preserving attribution Mozilla describes as non-invasive alternative to cross-site tracking, but experts argue it may interfere with users' rights under EU and GDPR. While standing by the controversial privacy feature, Mozilla has now admitted to Tech Radar that this is being reported on. It should have done more and is ready to work to clear up confusion. So, anyway, this goes quite in depth on what happened. Now, I don't use Firefox anymore. I don't, and I wonder, do you? Do many of you still trust passwords? Do you trust passwords without two-factor authentication? I always get antsy when I go to a site and I can't use two-factor authentication anymore. So the majority of users still protect their prized virtual possessions with nothing more than passwords. The hardware authentication key provider, Yubico, has served. Of course, Yubico has got a little bit of skin in the game for people to buy their keys. Surveyed 20,000 people around the world to gauge their perception on cybersecurity and found that the majority, 58%, still use only a username and password to log into personal accounts as opposed to biometrics. Well, some places don't have the ability to do biometrics. My bank has two-factor authentication, finally, but it's an SMS. So it's a little better. But interesting enough, though, the vast majority of the respondents, 72%, are also aware that online scams and phishing attacks have become more sophisticated. So anyway, please, if the service you're using offers two-factor authentication, please use it. It's a great way to go. Fubo's testing out multi-view on a Roku, so I don't know if you've subscribed to that channel or not, but if you do, multi-view is becoming available. It's not surprising Amazon employees don't want to be back in the office all week. From a survey, a whopping 73% of Amazon workers who were surveyed say they consider changing jobs due to return to office mandate that begins in January. Well, I hate to tell you this. The economy is in the crapper. And if you want to come back to work, if you don't want to come back to the office, good luck. Good luck finding a new job unless you are in a highly touted job where there's a need. If you're working in marketing, sales, HR, customer support, and you don't want to come back to the office, you might just be out of a job. According to this article in Tech Writer, Google's Scary Good AI podcast tool, well, this is a little bit of a misnomer of a good to get my attention. Just got better with built-in YouTube upload and easy sharing. Notebook LM apparently creates an audio summary from your notes. I don't want to listen to a podcast of your notes. Just a few weeks ago, Google introduced Notebook LM, and TechWriter senior editor has been experimenting with the tool. Lets you quickly convert documents in incredible, realistic conversations between two voices. I've had a glimpse of how AI will change your world, and it's filling me with both fear and wonder in equable measure. Well, you better be fearful for sure. Google expanded the AI tool with new source types, including the ability to upload YouTube videos as well as audio files. Again, if you're putting an audio file on YouTube and it doesn't have an RSS feed, it's not a podcast. It's an audio file on YouTube. Okay? It's a YouTube channel. May look like a podcast, may smell like a podcast, but it technically is not a podcast. So just don't be sucked in by these words. Your treasured podcast that's available via podcast apps like Apple Podcasts, like Pocket Cast, like Fountain, like Overcast. Those are podcast apps that use RSS feeds, which is open, that no one can take control of. You put a podcast on YouTube, it can be taken down tomorrow. Podcast with open RSS? No. So please quit calling stuff you see on YouTube a podcast. If you ever get a survey and someone says, do you watch podcasts on YouTube? Say, no, I watch YouTube channels on YouTube. I listen or watch the podcast in podcast apps. Yes, you can watch the show in the Apple Podcast app. Businesses are being hit with more mobile phishing than ever before. Matter of fact, we had a discussion about this with my team 2 days ago. So just be careful out there, okay? Be careful out there on what you're getting in SMS and email. I over the weekend, I had one come in. I almost clicked on it. It was pretty realistic. I don't know how Kirk got this one into the role today, but this is kind of funny. Not funny that he got indicted, but funny what he told the FBI. New York City Mayor Eric Adams, who's been indicted, tells FBI he forgot his phone's passcode. Huh. You know, here's the reason why he said he forgot his phone passcode. You can't be compelled by the government to unlock your phone. Now, if you've got a password or picture, yeah, you sure can. But if you have the number, I don't remember what the number was. So I wonder if New York City Mayor Eric Adams was listening to my show, where I've told you about that before. Now, they may try to compel him to unlock his phone. But as far as I know, unless something has changed, he doesn't have to unlock that phone because it's an act of self-incrimination if there's incriminating evidence on there. And you have the right to be silent. What you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. That's why the rule is if you ever get rolled up, there's a phrase that's STFU. That's what you do. You STFU. You call your lawyer. Say, I want my lawyer. You don't say nothing. U.S. IPOs are set to extend recovering after staging a solid comeback. So they say the IPO market's back. Okay. I don't know about that, according to Yahoo Finance. Also, NASA's trying to figure out what they're doing with their Astro Bees, and I had completely forgot about these Astro Bees in space. These little free-flying cubes have been up there doing inventory and stuff. So kind of a cool little article about that. Google Maps will flag businesses with potentially fake reviews. It appears in the pull-up screen for the business. I'm going to be honest with you. Oftentimes now, people are losing business because their businesses are being removed from Google businesses. So if you have a Google business listing, do not, that's a fast way to lose your listing and put you out of business. So be very, very careful when you're out there managing your Google business account and your map location. LG Smart TVs bring ads to the screensaver. Yes, LG Smart TVs bring ads to the screensaver. They appear by default, even on the most expensive OLEDs. Outraged? Yes, outraged I would be. But luckily, for now, you can disable those ads. It's just like what YouTube is doing with giving you ads on the pause button, making it as annoying as possible. Now, Google is not paying those creators any money for those ads. So, again, you continue to be the product out there, ladies and gentlemen, so be careful. Buying an expensive TV and your screensaver is going to pop up and play ads, I would be so pissed. I mean, that would be like a go out and smash it with a baseball bat moment. I'm sure, and people are going to be outraged, and they're not going to know how to find the way to shut that off. Be careful what you install on your phone. Victims lose $70K on one single wallet draining app on Google Play Store. They got through. So apparently, 150 so of you lost $70,000 because you got hit by a man in the middle attack, sadly. And more fun news, the Samsung Galaxy S10 and Ultra. Yes, the Samsung Galaxy Tab S10 Ultra and Galaxy Tab S10 Plus are tablets built for AI. And they have similar type size screens. So if you're looking for little AI goodness in an Android device, you definitely want to take a look at these two devices. Now, I don't care what side of the political spectrum you're on, but I find this interesting. X has blocked links to hacked JD Vance dossier. X is preventing users from posting links to a newsletter containing a hacked document is allegedly to be the Trump campaign's research into Vice President candidate JD Vance. The journalist who wrote the newsletter has been suspended from the platform. Searches for posts containing a link to the newsletter turn up nothing in Twitter. But there's links other places if you want to go read it. Personally, that's the last thing I want to do is go read some dossier and read something juicy. If each of us had a dossier done on us, just think if you were running for high office and they went all the way back to when you were 5 years old and looked at everything, anything you said, anything you did, who you were classmates with, anything. You farted in church, whatever it may have been, and built out about a dossier on your life, would you want anybody to see that? We all have done stupid stuff in our life. And sometimes it's a matter of growing up. Some people grow up later than others, but still, what people are today doesn't mean what people have done in the past. Now, it was just last week. Well, that's a different situation. But near history is probably important to look at, but stuff that's 10, 15, 20, 30 years old, would you want information about everything you did, who you hung out with, who you drank beer with, who you smoked weed with, who you slept with, everything to be put in a dossier that would be available for the public to see? There's not a single one of us. Not a single one of us. So I don't care what your politics are. None of us would like this to be put out about ourselves. Dossier. I'll pronounce it correctly. Admit it. You would not want it. But some journalists, I got hold of this dossier. And this is a good way to punch somebody in the face in a political campaign. But if that reporter had the same dossier put together about him or her, they would have lost their minds. Okay. That's it for today. Don't leave. Hold on. I got an email. It came in. Let me get to it. And the listener's name is not definitely correct. And I'm thinking this might be a. Okay, I'm going to read the name. It's coming from Bonald, Bonald, Crabtree. And it starts out by saying it's not spam. But I want to read this a little bit. He says, April, just a fan listener, Geek News Central podcast. I emailed you a comment once before several months ago. Probably didn't stand out, though, as it's just an arbitrary rant where I poked fun at myself at the time, probably for using an iPhone 7. Hey, there's no problem with that, brother. After an episode where you asked the audience sarcastically if anyone still used a phone that old. By the way, I'm now on a 2022 third generation iPhone SE, but I digress. Here's another long and pointless and overwordly email. Just a small thing. I want to correct you on from your last episode. I mean, there's respect. I know you're OG. You remain very well connected, even after your lifetime. He said, for that reason, I want to mention that I believe you confused side loading with something different. I don't know if I did, and I understand what side loading means, where the loose general term, as you put in this email, is the file transfer between two local devices, often used when transferring files from additional desktop. Here's the thing you got to understand, Bonald. Oftentimes I'm repeating what's in articles, so maybe the article didn't get it completely correct. And I do know what IPTV is. IPT is simply when cable satellite networks relay their broadcast to be accessed online. IPTV is also a lot of hack services out there. There's a lot of IPTV services out there that are not satellite cable networks. They are running they're running content that they did not pay for. For sure. And again, well, the side loading to me, and I understand where you're coming from now, is if you take a Amazon Fire or whatever they're called, an Amazon stick, and that application is not available on their store, and you have to use another method to get that app into your Amazon Fire Stick by turning some stuff off in the Fire Stick, that is definitely side loading. When you have to hack your Fire Stick and turn some developer features on to sideload the app manually, that's what I'm kind of referring to, sideloading. And then that sideloaded app is then kind of a generic app, which you put credentials in to get access to IPTV from third-party services. Some of these, because you're not going to get in the United States one of these apps that will load this. It doesn't exist to be able to load the type of services I'm referring to. But anyway, he said, I mansplain this due to sheer boredom. That's only half true. I have no friends and live an isolated life, and thus have few justified opportunities to share my knowledge. In that case, I've misunderstood, and you are already versed in all these concepts, and you're not wasting my time. Thank you so much. Redmond, York, DFW region, the Lone Star State. Yeehaw. I'm not going to say the rest of your email. Hey, thanks so much for sending that over, Redmond. Don't be afraid to use your own email, though. All right, it's okay, and I definitely appreciate your feedback here on my side loading stuff. And but good for sending it back. Also, Elena said to me the other day, she said, "I vote for you to make a shadow box with the 3.5-inch disc I've got in a stack." And I'll be honest with you, I couldn't do it. I pulled the 2 boxes of 3.5-inch disc that I've held on for 20 plus years, and they're in a storage container. I couldn't throw them in the trash can. I got to the trash can, and there was something in me that says, someday, Todd, when you're old and decrepit, you're going to want to use those 3.5-inch discs for something. They'll never be used. And, and I'm dead and gone. My kids will probably have to throw the things out. But anyway, I digress. Let's get out of here. Geeknews@gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com. That's how you send a comment to the show. And Benold Crabtree, thank you for that. And of course, for those of you that are insiders, thank you for being insiders. Hey, I do have one thing. Did you leave yet? The August GoDaddy numbers were a little tight. So September and into October, if you haven't picked up a GoDaddy product or service yet, please consider doing so. Please think about going over there. And if you've been sitting on your haunches and haven't decided to make the move to set up a new website, a business, podcast, whatever it may be, I'd appreciate your support and supporting the sponsor. All right, everyone, thank you so much for being here. I'll be back with you on Monday for another edition of the Geek News Central podcast. It's been my pleasure to bring you the episode today. We went really long. Wow, that's shocking. I guess I talked too much at the beginning. But anyway, thanks so much for being here. This is a record-long show for this show. But I'll be back with you on Monday for another edition. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.